And this is very important because it really shows that there is a big gap in digital inclusion and financial inclusion. Latin America has been doing great in digital inclusion, thanks to the smartphones. Almost all adults above the poverty line has a smartphone with some kind of connectivity. But that is not the case in financial inclusion. That really lags behind in terms of the digital inclusion. There is a gap between those two indicators. And that tells us and gave us an idea on how to do a different segmentation for the market. And we're doing a segmentation on two axes. The horizontal axis really presents what is the infrastructure available where people live. And people may live in urban environments, semi-urban environments, and rural environments. And what we can see is that in semi-urban and urban environments, most of these areas already has a 3G connectivity and some networks of correspondent banking. That's very important for financial inclusion. And that's why we want to prioritize semi-urban and urban environments. On the vertical axis, we have the capabilities of the person. What can the person do as an individual? And we can see that these capabilities really expand with the use of a smartphone. So the smartphone is really a very important element on the priority segments. And the second one, which is a challenge in some countries, is having means for having an identification that is backed by a official or a government institution. And that's important because in setting up some of the accounts, our processes for anti-money laundering require some kind of identification. So what we're saying is we should focus on these semi-urban and urban and people who have incipient or complete capabilities defined by these indicators, smartphone and official identification. And this is very important because the reality in Latin America has been evolving from financial inclusion to be a rural challenge to now a semi-urban and urban challenge. In our countries, the majority of people now live in semi-urban and urban around the big cities. These, semi-urban areas or belts around the cities have been evolving and have different names in different countries. In Brazil are called favelas, in other countries are called barrios. But these are very important because that's the prime target for our financial inclusion efforts. Let me go to the second one, the second lesson, after this one that we have focused on a different kind of segment. The second one is having a really 360 approach to all of the flows and all of the needs of the person. I think that in the past, the financial inclusion efforts have been focused on one or two flows, what we used to call champion flows. You could either have an account or a card for receiving benefits from the government, or a card for using that in mass transit. Now the best approach that we have found is to really have a card that can serve you in all of the needs that you have, 360. All of the inflows that you have, cash in from government, from businesses, and even from P2P sources, and also the outflows from the same categories, cash out, consumer to business, consumer to government, or P2P. In consumer to government is particularly important utilities. We'll see that in the next slide. And finally, to really adapt the models that we have from face-to-face ways to service our clients to really digital means to do it, so that people can open an account, close an account, and really provide all of the services that you need to maintain your account on a digital way. In the past, unfortunately, we have pushed our customers to branches, bank branches, and that's really inconvenient. That now the digital tools allow us to have an end-to-end digital experience that you can